short story and novella now.
There's a novelette.
Novelette.
That's always been.
But we're seeing a lot more of them, I think, than I think I'm used to, or I'm seeing a lot more of them than I'm used to.
I think there's an online publishing phenomena that goes for that.
Right.
It's just the right length that you can post it on a lot of these media sites without having too big a file or too many words.
Well, that makes sense.
And it's the kind of thing that can conveniently be broken down into 2 or 3 short posts on like Reddit or the Kindle.
Well, I liked
Kindlevella,
I liked it. It only took me a few hours to read it.
Right.
So it was well written. It's Alex Harrow, of course. It was well written. I really enjoy her writing. I read The Last Kids on Earth by Max Brailer and Brailer. And if your grandson has not hit that series yet, since he likes the bad guys. It's the bad guys, right?
Yes.
He might very much like The Last Kids on Earth, because it's basically about a bunch of kids who have a treehouse that they've built after the zombie apocalypse. But it's not just a zombie apocalypse, because there's all these monsters that have, cropped up as well. And it's just all these middle school kids mainly who are having to fight all these monsters. It's quite entertaining. And then I read historical fiction, kind of along the lines of a detective, The Anatomist's Apprentice.
Oh, yes. I love that book.
Yeah, so I thought that was quite good.
That's the first in a series involving the anatomist. What I loved about that book was the mores and the science of the time.
Right.
And the way that's brought into the story. And
I thought she did a nice job of layering that in. That's Tessa Harris.
Yeah,
So, and then I thought that was really interesting, the way that it was pulled together and the challenges that they were facing. And of course, it reminded me of a book that I read a long time ago called The Killer of Small Shepherds.
Okay.
Which is...
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I'm sure we've talked about it, because it's this book about the birth of forensic science.
Okay.
And about a case of a serial killer, a killer of little shepherds. That's what it was, a killer of little shepherds. And it was about a serial killer in France, and fascinating stuff. And then the one that I just...
If I could interrupt, the one thing I pat myself on the back, I figured out what the poison was in the very beginning of the book.
Oh, did you?
Describe, I know what this is.
Oh,
I know what this is. I know how they killed this guy.
In The Anatomist.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like, I know what's going to happen here.
Interesting. See, I didn't, but of course
I didn't make the connection to the old lady's madness, but...
I thought that was that was a nice twist.
Yes,
that
it
was
was
a nice twist. That was well played.
But I knew what the poison was. It's just like, who done it?
Yeah, how did they...
how did they get this into him?
Yeah. And then the most recent thing I finished was another middle grade called Sisters of the Never Sea, which is by Cynthia Lettich Smith, and it's a rewrite or a version of the Peter Pan story. So since Lost and Found is based on Peter Pan, I've been reading a lot of other derivatives and books that are based on that, and this one is actually more of a feminist take on it, and also she's Native American, and so she focused a lot on cleaning up some of that mess, right? So from the original story. So I thought that was really well done, but she used the narrative voice that was very similar to Barry's. So I thought that was I thought she handled that really well, very deftly.
That's hard to do, particularly that time frame voice. That can very quickly become kind of campy or overdone.
Yeah,
to write in that Victorian style.
But it really wasn't, because it's set contemporary. But she used that narrative voice that is, almost the dear reader, and you might be wondering why. Those types of structures that he used, but more in a contemporary. Yeah, I just thought she handled it very deftly. So that's what I've been reading.
Well, and writing, or are you taking a break?
I'm on break right now because I'm in the editing phase of some things and a proof copy.
How about
for
that?
An upcoming book. So actually, there's some copy editing that needed to be done to it as well. So
that's most of what I found when I went through the
I found a little
proof.
more than you did. But
I'm sure you did. You're a much better copy editor than I am. So
I found a few more things, but that'll all be cleaned up soon. And your new book will be out soon.
I do hope so.
Yeah. So.
I'd like to get it on the agenda for Christmas for folks.
Well, I'm sure it'll be ready by then. My hope is that there will be copies in hand in time for
the Mesa Book Festival,
December
17th.
Yeah, it's coming up. So that's the hope. That's the goal, is to see it.
I would like to see that as well.
Yeah.
But, that would be great.
Well, if all of things align, it shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be an issue.
It's getting all the work done, and then
the work will be done. It's just whether or not the order
will go through. Yeah, I know how that is too. At this time of year, that's
the only challenge.
But
it'll definitely available on ebook, and it'll be available by Christmas. So definitely.
Yes, we're sitting here looking at our publisher.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see this new book come out from you.
Well, I'm always excited for a new book to come out.
Right?
I'm going to take a small break from that universe, I think. Well, I hope my self-imposed goal is to finish Proud Waves Be Stilled by the end of the year.
Ooh. The end of this year.
The end of this year.
The end of 2022.
The end of 2022. I've been going hard and heavy. I am at the beginning of the climactic events. I have to struggle a little bit with how to get my characters into the positions I want them in a way that is both believable and dramatic. And I got to figure out where I'm going to actually end this thing and draw the line, since the events go on for another 3 years.
Right.
It's not like this just stops.
Right.
That just changes focus and things change a bit. But
I'm excited. You've been working on this thing for a while.
Well, it's been a year.
Yeah.
I started it about this time last year.
But the research goes way
the research, don't even get me started on that, and it still goes on. I just spent, probably a couple of hours poring over maps of 1860 Liverpool, trying to make sure I got the street names right.
Yeah.
If I'm not that obsessive, I'm sure there's some reader who will be.
Somebody will be, yeah. You got this wrong. There are no number whatevers on this road.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I've already been called to task on that, actually, from a person who was just perusing and says, no, there's no such number as that on Piccadilly. There never was. It's like, oh, okay. If you say so.
Nice. Yeah. So it's not that I'm not writing at all, because I did get a few thousand more words written on dating and demons, but I'm not that focused on it because I've got some other things going, and we want silver out in the world, so
I do too.
That's my primary focus right now for the next couple days. So.
Well, once I get this done, I may be engaging your services yet again. So.
I'm available.
Give me a good price.
Yeah. We'll talk. I got a friends and family discount. So I'm looking forward to the Mesa Book Festival. It looks like it's going to be pretty big shindig this year.
I sure hope so. Yeah. I have yet to hear when panels are going to happen, but I'm sure we can make that up as we go along. We often do.
Well, I know that there are a couple of kidlit panels taking place, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, and so those have been filled. And I know there are some other discussions going on. So I haven't seen a final schedule.
I'll interject as your magical host from the sky. There is a specific Brick Cave panel, so all the Brick Cave authors will be together on one panel at some point during the day.
Oh, look at that!
Oh boy!
Woohoo! So that's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And that's about all I know.
Me too.
This time, so I guess we'll keep it short this month, and because holidays
it's a good
coming.
ending to the year, and we've got a lot of stuff going on.
We do have a lot of stuff going on.
It'll be a busy month, even if we're not busy here. We'll be busy elsewhere.
Yeah, indeed. So
thank you again for listening to this episode of the Brick Cave Podcast. Anytime you'd like to hear us, or you can join us online at brickcavepodcast.com. Our BC Book Club members can also enjoy extra episodes and other great advantages, such as
free books.
Details on the Brick Cave website, brickcave.media. Thanks again, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.